What the heck is up, brothers? It is Flash back with some more charts and another video. Today is Tuesday, July 23. It's 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Markets have closed. July 23. We're getting nearer to the end of July, which is when I expect URA to really start bottoming. So we're going to go through a couple tickers today. I want to point out some things that I'm seeing and let you guys know that I think there is hope for this uranium trade. And so we're just on the monthly here on URA. We're on the hike and the sheet candles, and you can see it really does not look that bad at all. I mean, we're right above our monthly defined support. Everything looks healthy, but it's a long bull market. It's a long way. It's not going to go up in a straight line. This is a small consolidation so far. And so even on the line chart, it looks really good. Clearly above that support. Again, this is the monthly, but I mean, you have some sort of, I'd been pointing this out before, you have some sort of maybe accumulation cylinder, accumulation pattern there. Who's to say, but looks pretty good, looks pretty interesting. And so let's move on to the weekly on URA. I'm going to point something out to you guys that I've kind of stumbled upon, and it's one of the reasons why I think the market can be so hard to play, right? And it's not just uranium. This goes for really any financial asset in the way that they trade. And so, for example, I talk about these ABC corrections or ABC moves, a 3-wave move, 5-wave move. You know, we could get into Elliott wave. That's not really the goal of this video. It's more about the price is moving in waves. So for example, on URA, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Okay, and what do you notice about the 5? Let's enhance a little bit. At the end of the 5, we see a little bit of a 1, 2, 3. It makes a higher high than the previous one. And once it gets back below this high, that's when it starts its correction, or that's when price really actually reverses. Where people think it's making a higher high, they get sucked into the uranium space, or any asset in general. They get sucked in, and then for whatever reason we enter a consolidation. So it's the way these assets trade, it gets people bought in and then quickly either stopped out or enter a long consolidation. It creates frustration in the market and people lose their minds. But when you take a look at any asset, you can see that it moves in these 3-wave moves, 5-wave moves. I'm sure some have 7 or 9, but in its simplest form, we want to look for these 3-wave moves where we take out this low right here, and then we kind of push back upwards, and we don't actually break this low here. So this, you knew when you were down here, it's a kind of a safer entry once we get back above this A, I guess you could call it, in the ABC. A, B, C. So let's move on here. Here's what I see here. One, two, three, four, 5. We take out this A, and now we're correcting. Let's enhance a little bit more onto the daily. What do we see here? Pretty standard ABC, right? A, higher high on a B, and then a lower C. So what we want to do is take out this A. And then I think once we get above this A, once we get above like 2860 on URA, I think that's going to mark more or less that bottom for us. Because again, as a reminder, I know I talk about this a lot, but our time cycle is we're coming right into the bottom, late July, early August. We should start to see some bullish price action. And so from there, I'm actually going to go into the 3-hour. I know I don't do this a lot normally, but this is going to give us, I think, pinpoint accuracy on potentially URA going back up. So this could be a trade setup. You know, I'm not going to advise you on when to take a trade. I'm just trying to find this bottom fishing. And even on the 30-minute time frame, what do we see here? I think there's a little bit of a resistance line somewhere in here. Let's call it like right there. So I think like we're turning this corner. We want to get back above, here's the low of that first move. We want to get back above this line again, around 28.60. And that's going to, I think, complete this ABC correction that we've been in. You know, or, and this is a more bearish scenario, is we retrace like this whole pattern. And that could have us coming way back down. Because really, in the grand scheme of things, this is a three-wave move. It makes a higher high. We've taken out this high. We could be retracing even more. And that's just to say, you know, I don't have all the answers. I don't think anyone really does. But this could be way bigger than anyone really expects. Because this could be wave one of something much, much larger. And this is already pretty massive, right? So we'll hide this again for the sake of cleaning up the chart, if I can click it. But here's what it could be. Like it could be like 1, 2, 3, and then we go like, we want to take out that, and then we resolve upwards. That would create pain in this market. It would create fear. It would shake a lot of people out. But again, this bull wants to buck you very, very hard. And so, end of the day, I think we're still above our moving average. 3-year moving average. We can bring in the Ichimoku cloud as well. Put this on the line. Like, we're above the 3-year moving average. We're above the cloud. You're starting to see a lot of the individual tickers come down and actually test the cloud. Like, let's look at Elevate. Elevate's breaking its cloud. But you have like Laramide, it's right on the cloud support, right on support of the 3-year moving average. You know, you have Mega Uranium, bullish wedge into the cloud, into a 3-year moving average support. But I think like we're coming into a critical time where the time cycle is marking a low for us. Let me take some of these indicators off. I wanted to go through a couple of these. And I think we trust the time cycle because this has been so on point. You know, it's a high here, it's a high here, there's a high here, and a low here. Like there's highs and lows everywhere and it's matching up perfectly. And so I think we trust both the highs and the lows. And I think like with the time cycles, it's like instead of thinking about price going up and down, think about this just like a heartbeat, or like think about it going sideways. Like it's gonna whipsaw back and forth. It's just making higher, hopefully higher highs and higher lows, right? But we're going up and it's the rhythm of the market. Again, we're right on support. We're coming into a low of the time cycle and we're finding our ABC correction. And if this is really to work out, you know, we're not going to retrace this whole structure and we're going to continue on this bull run, this bull market. But I would just, you know, I'll go over to Paladin, for example. Like Paladin has all of these ABCs everywhere. So like, we never broke this A though, or we did a little bit, but that wasn't, but then you have like an A, B, C, and then within that you have A, B, C, A, B, C. We take out this low, and you can be confident that if you're buying when we break the low, that you're a little bit safer. You could have a tighter stop loss, or you could feel more confident in the trade, especially if we're matching up with the time cycle. So Paladin, we'll zoom in on the daily on Paladin. And what do you see? I think we did break this low, yeah. Just barely. Like, it's so hard to kind of get that trade in. But this could be, a classic double bottom. And again, with this time cycle, you're going to want to see this price action start to curl back up. And so if I were a betting man, I think we are going to start going up pretty soon. I know it's painful. I know it's not fun. I'm right there with you guys. We can look at some ratios here. URA price in the S&P. You have this big correction. It's painful, but we want to get right above that. I've also included URA measured in gold. Same story. A, B, C. We want to get above this. Like even right here, it was like A, bigger move, but when we cracked this, we were off to the races. So there's going to be these corrections. URA priced in the NASDAQ. I keep doing that. It's tough to call here. We're still basing out, it looks like. But this could absolutely roll over. You hate to see that, but until we get above these lines, this pocket here, you got to be wary of that. I also have URA priced in XLK. I think that's technology. Looks like we have a little triangle consolidation. But I think with this time cycle, again, we're going to start moving up. We're going to start outperforming. That's my gut. That's my guess. Another thing I wanted to show you guys, ASA, Gold and Precious Metals Fund, dates back a long time. There's a lot of data, so it's a good representation of just the commodity complex in the miners, gold and precious metals, but I think really the miners all more or less move together over the long term, right? And I've demonstrated that in previous videos. But we also have ASA measured in gold. We want to be outperforming gold when we can. Another one I have is URA measured in ASA. And here's like a classic falling wedge. We'll go into the 3-day here. Falling wedge with like a capitulation bottom here. Like URA has really underperformed the miners big time since the start of 24. But again, we have some sort of ABC here. It's a little bit smaller, but it's a falling wedge, and then we're falling out of the wedge. That means this could be a slingshot move. Like you fall outside the wedge and then you go. You could probably make the case back here, like you had at least a bull flag. Here you had a kind of an expanding bull flag. So I think URA was really close to the bottom, guys, and I think we just got to stick with it. We see FSY getting a bid today. Like we zoom out on the monthly on FSY. Like look where that candle could be closing the month. It's right on this line I've had forever. So I think we got to trust our monthly macro support levels. And I think you can get FSY at a discount here. ASPI is up 7% today. Kind of a weird looking chart. But again, this has that time cycle too. That's why I'm still in this thing. I bought in probably around here, 180, rode it all the way up. But you can see like A, B, C, we take out this high and now we're correcting. But now what I see here is some sort of more of a complex ABC, but I think once we get above here, that correction could be over. So I think these ABCs, these three-wave moves are just a guidance for a different way of looking at the market and how the market and maybe the market makers are trying to confuse you, shake you out, make you scared, make you buy in when it's really probably not the right time to buy in. And it can be confusing, and I get confused too. So I try to just look at the bigger picture, look at the ratios, and at the end of the day, I'll end on this. End of the day, you have gold looking as strong as hell, right? Like big breakout. But yes, you could say like this is could say that like maybe it's not the right time to buy. I don't think that's the case here. I think we can kind of look at inflation, macroeconomic data, and kind of make the case that hey, this is gold is for real. And so we look at gold. We look at gold measured in S&P 500. We're nearing a breakout there. You know, you have some sort of ABC here. It's close to a bottom in my opinion. And then let's look at URA measured in gold. We'll throw the cloud on here. We'll throw the moving average. We're testing the cloud. The cloud is green. The cloud is it's moderately thick. I think we're going to find some support in here and start turning up. And then you can look at URA or UX1 measured in gold. That's a bullish breakout, and we're retesting. URA measured in the physical trust, a representation of the metal. Like, we're right there, guys. So as frustrating as this correction is here on CCJ, we're catching some support. I think we got to ride it out. I think we let the time cycle play out. I'm trying not to be a broken record. I'm trying to give you guys more value in these videos, but I think we're right there. So I'll keep making these videos. We'll see what happens through the end of July into August. And drop me a like if you found this helpful. Subscribe if you're not. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.